Before outsiders arrived, Africa thrived, a continent alive with thousands of cultures, languages, and traditions. From the Sahara's sands to the Congo's rainforests, Africa was a land of breathtaking diversity and achievement. Great kingdoms like Kush and Mali rose, led by powerful rulers and renowned for their wealth, art, and learning. Cities such as Timbuktu became centers of scholarship where knowledge flourished. Skilled artisans crafted bronze, gold, and textiles, while communities were bound by deep family ties and respect for elders. Stories, songs, and dances passed wisdom from one generation to the next, creating a strong sense of identity. This was a continent of builders, thinkers, and artists connected to the land and to each other. People understood the stars, the soil, and the rhythms of nature. They were not waiting to be discovered, they were living, creating, and building civilizations. Africa's legacy is one of pride, resilience, and profound achievement. This is the true beginning of the story, a foundation that could never be erased. The world would soon change, but Africa's spirit endured. Then came ships that brought not trade, but terror. The start of the transatlantic slave trade. This was a storm that tore through Africa for centuries, ripping families apart and leaving scars that would last generations. European traders fueled chaos, turning neighbors into captors and trust into fear. People were seized, marched to the coast, and held in brutal forts before being forced onto ships. Identities were stripped away, humanity denied, and families shattered in an instant. The loss of millions of Africa's youth left deep wounds, halting progress and devastating entire regions. The vibrant cultures and societies built over centuries were threatened. Yet even in the face of such cruelty, the spirit of those taken could not be extinguished. The storm of the slave trade was a tragedy that sought to silence Africa's song, but the melody of resilience endured, echoing across oceans and generations. The impact was profound, but the story was far from over. Africa's spirit would not be broken. The Middle Passage was a journey of unimaginable suffering, people packed in darkness, chained, and stripped of freedom. Yet, even in these dire conditions, hope survived. Strangers became allies, sharing whispers of comfort and forging bonds in adversity. On plantations, enslaved people faced relentless labor and cruelty, families torn apart at a moment's notice. But they resisted dehumanization by preserving culture in secret songs, stories, and spiritual practices, kept their heritage alive. These acts of remembrance were powerful resistance, proof that their spirits remained unbroken. New communities formed with people caring for each other as family, sharing what little they had. Even when everything was taken, they rebuilt belonging and found strength together. Their resilience was a quiet defiance, planting new roots in foreign soil. The struggle was immense, but so was their courage. Through hardship, they held on to dignity and hope. Their legacy is one of survival and unity. The desire for freedom never faded. Enslaved people resisted daily, working slowly, breaking tools, learning in secret, and escaping to form free communities. Larger rebellions erupted, like the Haitian Revolution led by Toussaint Louverture, and the Underground Railroad guided by Harriet Tubman. These acts sent a clear message: the fight for dignity and liberty would not be silenced. Words became weapons too. Abolitionists and formerly enslaved people like Frederick Douglass and Olaudah Equiano exposed the horrors of slavery to the world. Their courage inspired movements for justice and abolition. Slavery was eventually abolished, but new challenges arose: colonialism in Africa, racism and segregation in the Americas. The struggle for true freedom and equality continued, yet the unbreakable spirit of resistance endured. Each generation carried the fight forward. The journey was long, but hope remained. The story of resilience was far from over. Even after slavery ended, Africa faced new storms: colonialism and ongoing injustice. European powers divided the continent, creating fresh struggles for independence and self-determination. In the Americas, descendants of the enslaved battled racism and inequality, yet the spirit that survived the Middle Passage refused to fade. Today, Africa is rising. Cities like Lagos and Nairobi are hubs of innovation and culture. A new generation is reclaiming Africa's story, building futures with creativity and pride. Across the diaspora, African heritage is celebrated in music, art, and activism. The world is enriched by the resilience and brilliance carried across oceans. Honoring this story means seeing both the pain and the triumph. It is a legacy of survival, resistance, and hope. Africa and its descendants are defined not by struggle, but by strength. After the darkest storm, the sun rises. Africa's light endures.